Hey Aries, how's it going? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Three of Swords. Okay, the way that I'm seeing, so we have Three of Swords and we have Queen of Cups. The way that I'm seeing Three of Swords feels like, if you look at this card, how there's a rose here, this is feeling to me like very a sensitive part of yourself, like a vulnerable part of yourself that is connected with feeling. And this feels like something is going on that you're feeling, and when you feel that, it feels like there are thoughts that are attached to this. Because when you see the flower, like the flower isn't thing where there's pain there. It's like I'm seeing it be that in the feeling there's not pain, but it's in the thoughts that are attached to it. And those being the thorns, but it's not the actual flower. And I'm seeing the flower as being like the heart and what you're feeling. And it's really, the pain is coming from the thoughts that are attached to it. Now then also here, having Queen of Cups as well. This is maybe a tuning in that you're doing, Aries. This can also be a healing. This can also be to a, like, I'm feeling this and I'm noticing that this is going on, or that I'm feeling this and now I'm having these thoughts that are connected. So when I'm feeling this, it also is bringing up these thoughts for me. And I feel like there's the word dwelling is coming through, but I'm not seeing it as being like a negative connotation of dwelling. I feel more so like there's a tuning in that's happening right now. And you can feel like other things are needing to be put on the back burner because this is coming up front and center, and focusing on this right now is the most important thing. Because I'm also seeing Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck, and I feel almost like I don't want to take anything else on right now, or like I don't have time for other things right now, or I feel like I really want to focus on this more than anything. And so kind of maybe creating a bit of a barrier so you can focus on this. So there can be a really big focus on like healing and awareness and tuning in. That's happening. I also don't feel like you're seeing this as being like bad or good or giving it that type of value. This feels more so like I'm noticing that I'm having this experience. I'm noticing that I'm experiencing this, and then tuning into that to maybe find some answers and figure out like what this means, where is this coming from, why is this happening, just to even become more aware of what's going on. Seeing Ten of Wands. So you're doing this and this feels important to you. The Ten of Wands kind of feels like all of the other stuff that is saying, pay attention to me. Like, look at this stuff that's maybe piling up, or this needs to get done and that needs to get done and this over here, when it feels like this stuff that you're dealing with is so important, but you can have some other things that are sort of looking in your direction. Okay, so this person, this is you tuning in. See how the Ten of Wands is looking over to Queen of Cups and is like, hey, we got all this stuff to do. I kind of feel like that going on. So even though you're like, you just need to stay there for right now and I need to do this, you can feel like there's some type of pressure that's sort of like looking at you energetically. Maybe even to maintain things, the pressure is saying, I need you to pay attention to me. Or like, hey, how long is this going to take? Because we got stuff to do over here. And then I'm seeing Four of Pentacles come out, and I wonder if this is about needing to be flexible with yourself while you're going through something that's saying, I actually need your attention right now. Like this Three of Swords is feeling like this is the thing that needs your attention right now. So maybe all this stuff over here can wait a bit because you're like, this is something that is calling to me, and I really want to be present to that part of myself, to that part of my experience right now. Tune into what's going on. And so even though there can be pressure, you can be saying, need to pause that for right now because this is where I need to be and what I need to be doing. You can feel like this thing is like with the Ten of Cups, this can be an enjoyment, total enjoyment of a situation. That Three of Swords feels like it's not allowing for that to fully happen. And so this has to be addressed. This has to be worked out. This has to be checked in on. Meaning, if you're like getting a massage and it feels nice, but then like normally it would feel good, and let's say like your leg is being worked on, but then you have a broken bone there, that's not gonna feel good. So normally something that would feel good, that you know like on a normal day would feel good, but because of this injury that you have, because of something that needs to be addressed, it doesn't. It feels like that's the whole reason of addressing this, and that's why it's coming up, because you want to be able to heal so you can enjoy the massage. So let's say just in this example, like massages, there's something that you like to do. So in order for you to be able to come back to a place of enjoying something that you enjoy, this needs to be addressed. And that's why it is saying like this feels very important to be doing right now, because you can feel like it's not allowing you to enjoy an experience that otherwise would be purely enjoyable. This is definitely something going on an emotional level. Three of Swords moving into Ten of Swords, I feel like this situation is going to be ready to be closed out, because Ten of Swords can mean like this thing is actually coming to an end. Going along with this metaphor of the broken bone here. So broken bone is Three of Swords, but when we get to Ten of Swords, that feels like it healing and then being very strong after that. Like that's what this has all sort of trickled down to. And then being able to show up in the way that you want to after that. So when it's healed, it feels like being able to do things how you want, being able to show up how you want. This can also be about taking care of yourself. That can be what part of this is. There can also be something going on with a relationship as well, because I'm seeing King of Wands next to Queen of Pentacles. And so this can be progress that you're making with somebody that right now you're interacting with. What this can also mean too is that there's progress being made, or you can feel like there's not going to be so much a personal block anymore. So because of taking the initiative, it feels like it allows you to dissolve a block that you've been experiencing in your personal life, and then things can move forward. That this can definitely be something that had been affecting you on a personal level, and that you needed to take initiative with this. Otherwise, it may have been something that just continued. And now I'm seeing you move into the Nine of Pentacles, which means like, okay, cool, now I can enjoy things again. Now things are back on track. We also go from Four of Pentacles, which is that like holding on and trying to keep things together because it like I can't let it get worse than this because this is like just cutting it, to then Ten of Swords feels like allows that cycle to complete. And then Nine of Pentacles is like what you always wanted the Four of Pentacles to be, but now you actually get to have that. Like Four of Pentacles, we can see that as being like just meeting basic needs. So like I need to keep this stabilized because it's like just cutting it to have this. So again, like Four of Pentacles I see as being like the basic, like everything is sort of okay. As far as like all the pentacles are compared to one another. So Four of Pentacles, it's like things are okay, but if it declines any from this, then things are going to be unstable then. So Four of Pentacles is like that rudimentary stability. But then I'm seeing we go from that to Ten of Swords, which feels like finally allows something to close out. And then what comes out next is Nine of Pentacles. And Nine of Pentacles is like surpasses Four of Pentacles. When Four of Pentacles is that like this is just enough, Nine of Pentacles is this is more than enough. Like this is great. Like this feels like abundance. This is everything that I could possibly need. But there's also going through that phase of just barely making it. And that can also, there can be tension because of that just barely making it. Like I'm trying to hold on to like the last strands of this or like the last grains of this that I have. And then having that Ten of Swords, it feels like it liberates you into something that then it's like the garden is overflowing. Whereas before you were like, every day I have to water this and I have to do this and I have to do that. And I'm like just barely getting fruit from it, but it's okay because this is at least what I need it to be. But I wonder if that was feeling like not sustainable. And then we pop into Nine of Pentacles, which is like, you tend to things like when you want to, the garden is still overflowing, like you have more than enough and you're not worried about that anymore. And this is what's happening by all of this being addressed. So I wonder if Three of Swords has to do with something that you've been working through that's associated with the garden not overflowing before to then moving to a place where it is overflowing. And that is where we end up landing when we have the Nine of Pentacles here. So you go from, ouch, that hurts, to now there is just pure enjoyment with the Nine of Pentacles. And I think seeing yourself in a position where that's even allowed, that's also part of this too. Because you could have been not seeing that part of yourself. There was something about not seeing that part of yourself, but maybe not knowing that you weren't seeing that part of yourself. I also feel too like there's some type of awakening of like more of a grandness that wasn't being recognized before within you. And then too, seeing King of Wands, which feels visible. But then we have Two of Swords and Queen of Wands, which feels like a part of yourself that's invisible. It feels like only seeing that part of the masculine energy. And that masculine energy is like doing, have to do this, have to do that, have to be in charge of this, have to control that. And then that being connected with the Four of Pentacles, which is this like, I'm doing all of this stuff and it's like just barely like making it. It's like just on that line between like being okay and not being okay. It's like that's where we're sort of moving from, but not seeing that part of yourself that is the feminine energy, which feels like kind of be the missing piece to this. Because when there's all of this doing and not that receptivity, like only one side of things are getting done, and it feels like an incomplete process. But now this feels like moving into a process being able to complete because of that embracing of the feminine energy. and now not being blocked anymore because of this. This also feels like the part of you that believes in your ability to pull in what needs to be pulled in. Not only to accomplish what needs to be accomplished, to do what needs to be done, to be adaptable and to be flexible, but also to attract things in. Because I see Queen of Wands as being like the most attractive because it is a feminine energy, and so it attracts, and also because it is the Queen of Wands, and so it maneuvers from the sacral energy, so that is about attraction. So seeing Queen of Wands as being the card that represents ultimately being able to just be, and then the things that just, and it's not just, it's like by you just being you and doing your thing here, that stuff comes around that needs to come around. And so there doesn't need to be this overdoing it now. And maybe that's what was happening before. There was like an overdoing it because there was an imbalance of energy, and that it was also like not really producing what you needed, because I'm seeing it be connected with the Four of Pentacles. And then in this also embracing and incorporating the feminine energy, it feels like that's what allows for the change to happen. That's what allows for the shift to happen. And so there's an opening to reception within you that maybe that wasn't what was going on before. So you could have felt like you were too much in your masculine energy, that it wasn't even giving you this situation ultimately that you wanted it to be producing, and that all of this has been about embracing that part of your feminine energy, among other things, because it's not only this. And that wounding was what was not allowing you to see what needed to be seen, was really like creating pressure and stress and too much weight. But now this cycle is closing out. And so there's also this feeling of these energies within you are stabilizing in a way that they hadn't before. So these energies are kind of becoming locked in. And I think that this also has to do with like pleasure, enjoyment, happiness, and you having experiences that feel good. What was blocking this from happening? Security as well, stability as well, but a lot on an internal level especially. And something needing to be worked out between these energies so that it could be stabilized. And also too, you checking in about your preferences as well, and that being something important here. Like when you're in touch with yourself, being aware of your values and your preferences, enjoying how things are going, what's going on, and then feel too like that's producing what you want and what you need. But before, because of some type of wounding, it feels like it was like not allowing you to move. It's like the block was needing to see something. And what needed to be seen was whatever this was that needed to be addressed. And that's what this whole thing has been about. Like at the bottom of it, it feels like addressing this, and then it cascades and connects with everything else within the reading. Feels too like you could have been perpetuating something that needed to be ended, and in the release it finally allows things to blossom that were not really growing before, and things that you wanted to grow. But you may have not seen that you were perpetuating something stressful. It just feels like something that was kind of endless. And it was coming from a place of wounding as well. And so needed to be addressed. I think balance of internal and external needs and values are part of this too. What was the broken thing that wasn't allowing you to enjoy that being addressed? Whatever this like broken bone, so to speak, was, it feels like it may have been getting in the way of you enjoying things, yes, but also doing things motivated by joy and happiness and bliss. It was like something that was keeping you from fully stepping into that. And then another part of yourself feeling overworked, feeling exhausted, feeling stressed. It's like all of this other stuff was it feels like the energy was just being dispersed incorrectly, and like the weight was being put on the leg that there needed to be like more of an even balance here, and this is going to be the correction of that. And now things can really, I see it going from like almost the garden isn't barren, because Four of Pentacles says like it's not barren. It's not like you're just starting a garden and nothing's in there. It just feels like what was coming from it was like barely making it, but it was okay. But if it was any less than that, it wouldn't have been okay. To then going into the Nine of Pentacles, which is like the whole thing booming and like popping, like everything being there, feels very abundant, feels like it's all just like flowing, and that you're not needing anything, like everything is just there and it's more than enough. Then this is the shift that's happening. Okay. With that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.